What stood out about Houston's team defense and then the way Amin Thompson defended Steph?
Yeah, they were great. I mean, ball pressure, they forced 20 turnovers. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league and probably the best defensive team, in the league this last month, and they took it to us. They were great tonight.
Steve, you talked about Steph's fatigue in the last month, and obviously he's been carrying a huge offensive load over the last few games. Yeah. Do you think tonight was a symptom of fatigue, or do you think it was a bit more with his performance tonight?
I mean, it's this is the NBA season. You go through 82 games, and there's just games where you don't have it. Every player, no matter how good you are. So Steph didn't have it tonight. They did a great job defensively. Take tomorrow off and get ready for Phoenix, and you guys get to analyze everything. But it's all part of the season.
Steve, what was the most difficult part to try and fight against? I mean, they're a taller team, athletic, energetic, all those things. What are the hardest part about this team to play?
They have great size and athleticism, at pretty much every position. And Ime's done a great job. They've really established an identity, and they kind of know who they are. And so, yeah, great defensive team, and they played a really good defensive game tonight.
You have said, and many others have said many years, or true proof behind it is that, age can be a factor in the NBA. Is their age difficult to deal with because it brings a certain energy too? Because they're young? Yeah, I mean, is their age and energy combined a difficult thing to deal with for guys that have been on the road like you guys have been for a while?
They're a young team on the rise. They got a lot of good talented young athletes, and they're playing well, and they just beat OKC 2 days ago, and like I said, one of the hottest teams in the league, and there's a reason, they're 52 and 27. They're great team.
This was the fifth match.
All right, the Rockets get the win tonight. They do lose 2-3 matchups to the Golden State Warriors, so the Warriors have the season series advantage. But I'll tell you what, one guy who's playing really well for the Golden State Warriors, if it wasn't for Stephen Curry, he may be the player of the week in the Western Conference. And believe it or not, it's Brandon Pajitsky. 19 points tonight, 4-9 for the three-point line, went 50% from the floor, 7-14 overall. And Mully, he's decisive. He's making quick decisions. He's playing his best basketball of his young career.
No, he's playing great ball. We said pre-game, he's doing everything in great form. His shooting, decision-making, his mid-range game is on point. I thought he had another fantastic performance.
Paz is moving up on that scouting report right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's the guy he's hitting those shots the Warriors desperately need. One of the reasons why that starting lineup has had such a great record. You got Paz coming into the game. He's pushing the ball. He's getting Steph off the ball. And they got to get him more involved whenever the games like this are going this way. Whenever you try to get the ball out of Steph's hands, I feel like the offense is more effective when Paz has the ball and he's able to direct the traffic. I thought the Warriors got away from that tonight. A lot of turnovers really took them out of the offense, but Paz has been playing incredible basketball so far.
Paz has been playing incredible basketball. When I watch Paz, I watch a guy who is trying to walk alongside of Steph. We all know Steph is the head of the snake here. When you're playing on the Golden State Warriors, you want to find yourself to fit in where you don't disrupt the offense that's built around Steph Curry. We all know this. Pods is doing his thing, but he's not disrupting what's going on. He's playing within the offense. And that's when I see that, I see a young guy who knows how to play basketball. I see a hooper, but I see a young guy who knows how to hoop and play basketball. Real hoopers and real basketball heads know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's really impressive to see a young guy who's only in his second year. He started the year off kind of, with some turbulence, and you would expect a guy to run into the sophomore slump, but he's risen to the occasion. He's really helping this team. They're hot right now. They lost tonight, but, I think they can pick it up.
Shooting 40% from three in his last 30 games, Brandon Pajitsky. So he's on a heater right now. And then the bench. We saw the bench production tonight, which is a positive sign for the Dubs. Buddy Hield, he went out and scored 20 points. Now the Warriors dropped to 12-1 on the season when he scores at least 19 in a game. But how about Gary Payton, the second back, returning? Remember, in his previous 9 games, Gary Payton, the second, was shooting 44% from three in his last 9 games. He picked up where he left off. And then Jonathan Kuminga was crashing the glass. Overall, the bench scored 56 points. Good production. That's been the strength of their team all season long, JCA.
Great production. Look, so I don't think Steph Curry's going to have another game where he only scores 3 points, right? Like, we got a lot of, contribution from the bench, from a lot of other guys. It was just off night for Steph, and sometimes that happens. Houston is also an incredible defensive team. You ran into, a very versatile, young, athletic team. So I don't expect for this to happen again. I think it could be seen as a highlight, right? Guys could find a rhythm, could find confidence, especially at this time during the season where you're getting ready to go into a 7-game series.
The bench, what's that? The bench for the Warriors has been a strength all year long. JK had 20 points, or no, not JK. Buddy had 20, and GP2 had 16. Outscoring the Houston Rockets bench 56-25. That's going to be really important going down the stretch. This is why when we talk about a Houston Rockets playoff series with the Warriors, it's because of the bench. It's because of the experience. It's because of the depth of the Warriors that I say it's going to go the distance. Now, if you watch a game like this, you understand why I say 6 games. This is not an easy team to beat. They are a young team, yes, but they're scrappy. They have athletes that can play. They have a guy who's probably Alperen Sengun is part of the reason why they're the #1 scoring post-up team in the NBA. So these are all the reasons why they have an offense that can go. Now their shooting might be a struggle, but their ability to offensive rebound, that gives them an ability to make up for those shooting woes.
Yeah, the role players have been great all year, and I think to JTA's point, you're not going to have another game where Steph gets 3, and then to maintain that rhythm and flow, those 20 turnovers, although the points off turns were only a 3-point difference, but that's less field goal attempts, less rhythm to the game. So those 20 turnovers hurt them as well.
And you know what hurt us is us betting on the Warriors tonight as we take a look at the odds.
Y'all, not me.
Presented by Great Resort and Casino, not JTA. You're not involved in
I
this.
didn't do
You'll
no
be on the
betting.
NBA floor next year. So you got to stay away from the gambling. But Fezzi, dinner might be on you, man. I may need to borrow somebody to get an Uber home. Got me?
Why not, man? You know what? Sometimes scared money don't make no money, but sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. We got more games to play.
This pal don't get secure with a first half lead. Dubs were up 11, but the Rockets crawled back and took control in the second half. And then limit those second chance opportunities, JTA. That did not happen tonight against Houston.
It didn't. They made it real tough. Alperen Sengun he's a tough guard. I mean, he's so versatile and he's huge. 7 offensive rebounds. Some guys don't get 7 rebounds in a game in totality. 7 offensive rebounds is really tough. So I think he was the difference maker there.
And that was the matchup to watch. Fezzi fell Draymond Green against Sengun, but 19 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. And as Draymond was barking out there, he was barking, he was loud. Sengun, very impressively, didn't back down from it. He went and got himself an N1 against Draymond Green as we look at the game within the game. Break it down, Fezzi.
I mean, you gotta give a lot of credit to this young Houston Rockets team. I mean, these are plays that really took the Warriors out of the flow of the game. This is a play where it just seemed like the Warriors lost their cool. They lost their demeanor and they lost their composure. And Alperen Sengun, he is a force. You don't want to see him on a guard. It's already a tough cover for big man. He's an all-star in this league, a double-double machine. And it's just all these little plays. This is right before the halftime. We talked about closing quarters and closing halves. That was just a tough play for the Warriors going into the half. Yes, they missed the free throws, but they were down. And we know what it's like when you come into the game and you're down in the second half.
You see Draymond Green picked up some early fouls. This was a questionable play here. They reviewed it. Draymond gets a flagrant 1. And from there, the Houston Rockets did not look back. Look, whenever you see contact in the head area, during this area, they're going to call that. It goes against Draymond Green. And the Rockets went off and started running in that third quarter, building a 10-point lead, JTA.
They did. They fed off that energy. And sometimes those things can go either way, right? But the Rockets, they definitely took advantage of that moment, and they never looked back, like you said.
You know how they talk about the basketball gods?
Of course.
And when you start struggling and things just, they keep going down that way because you're struggling.
Right.
That's what it felt like in the first half. I felt like the Warriors gave them some easy baskets, gave them some turnovers. They just took the momentum. Momentum came from them. The fouls came from the technical fouls, and things just kept rolling in that direction for the Warriors.
And I believe, their identity is defense. They're not depending on their offense to really win them games. So, when things are working for you defensively, you're getting out in transition, right? They had 26 points in transition. That's incredible. Those are stats to win a basketball game in the NBA. So it just never disrupts what they're trying to do. Like Mully said, they never went away from what they were doing.
Yeah, I think Ime Udoka, once again, coming from San Antonio, very fundamentally sound coach. And Bonte, we saw those clips when they switch a small onto Sengun, they isolate that mismatch, get into the post. If they come double again, then they kick it out. You see so many times the bigs in the NBA, when they get a small, they pop out to the three-point line. They made the Warriors pay for playing small by going inside. And I thought offensively, they did a really good job of not only Sengun,